Namaste, everyone. Today we are going to speak on time, its knowledge, innovation, and application from Vedic era to present. What is time? When we have this particular question in mind, we always think about having a watch or clock around us. Is it really a time, or it is merely a representation of time by a machine that too made by a human being only? So, also, when we feel ourselves getting older day by day, we think it is very harsh to control the time. So we think like it's our age actually that is a time. Is it so? Is that the reality? While living in a universe on planet Earth, time is there all around us. So is this time a creator of everything around us, or is it the one that encircles everything? This is too confusing. This is too inquisitive also. So what it is actually? Let's know it from various perspectives. So the concept of the beginning of universe, talking about that, we can relate time to the concept of beginning of universe, how time and the beginning of universe is correlated to each other. So the nature of time is probably furnished by modern cosmology. That is to explain by various scientists around us. So we can explore this whole idea into this particular presentation. When we talk about the Vedic scriptures, we have all the textual knowledge around us in the form of various Vedic hymns or the prayers. Then in the Puranic era, or you can say in later Vedic period, you have various beliefs around you regarding the time that you can even see into your day-to-day life. And then there's various scientific discoveries around us. So let's start with the Vedic scriptures first. Few examples we are taking here. We all know that Vedic period is mainly divided into Vedic texts are mainly divided into Vedic Sangitas, then Brahmanas, then Aranyakas, and the Upanishads, and then later various other sutras and other literature. So starting with the Vedic Sangitas, we find that these Sangitas basically are nothing but the Vedic prayers or the hymns to please the Vedic gods or the deities. And then in the Brahminical era, we have lots of ritualistic practices related to various yagyas that do take place on the various occasions of the celestial bodies itself, like Purnmasi, like Dash Purnmas Yagya, which is there on the Purnmasi full moon or the new moon time. So hence we can say that all the ritualistic practices were take place in accordance to the time only to have the fruitful results of life, whether it is the longevity or the health or the prosperity or the family or the cattle, anything we would like to have. If we have performed our yagyas in accordance with time, then definitely we will have the fruitful result as per the Vedic Rishi and the Vedic era or the Vedic scriptures. So we have various information regarding the time or the Kal itself, starting from the Rig Vedic period to later Vedic period. In the Rig Veda also we have these Surya Sukta, Savita Sukta, then Usha Sukta. These all are related to the celestial bodies itself. So, and the movements of the celestial bodies. So, like on when having those mantras, we have various facts around us from the basis of Vedic text only. Like we have description about the movements of celestial bodies, though it can be Saptarishi Mandal or the constellations. We have whole list of 28 nakshatras or the constellations. We have so many data related to Surya or the moon or the meteors even like Ulka. And then we have really various description about the changes of time units. It can be a samvatsar or ritu, or can be mass, or can be even the smallest unit called muhurt. And then about the surroundings, because all the yagyas need to be performed in accordance, not only in accordance to time, but also in accordance to the directions they are being performed. So hence these all facts are related to the time factor only, are evolved through the time only during the Vedic era. Like, for example, we have Samvatsaro Vai Prajapati. Samvatsar is considered to be the biggest element of time. And then at one place in the Shatpat Brahman, that is the Brahminical text of Yajurveda only, Shukla Yajurveda only. It is related to Prajapati, and Prajapati is nothing but the creator himself. It is mentioned as creator in various Vedic texts. We have a lot of references regarding that. So Samvatsar, the biggest unit of time, is equivalent to Prajapati, that is the creator. So as the Chandrama, that is the moon, it is also considered as the Prajapati, Prajapati by Chandrama. That is the creator. Chandrama and the sun. Sun and the moon are the creators themselves, because of them only we are here. And they are nothing but the time, related to time only. And then we can summarize this whole idea as Samvatsaraha Prajapati Sa Saprajaniyata. संवत्सर जो है वो प्रजापति है और प्रजापति कोई और नहीं, वो खुद ही क्रिएटर है. सो दिस इज हाउ वी कैन summarize this whole idea through this particular reference of Shatpat Brahman. And moving to from the Vedic era to the from the Brahminical era, we have now certain beliefs which we have, which is there from the Puranical literature, Puranic age literature, and now even today we believe the same. That is Mahakaleshwar. It is the Mahakaleshwar is the personification of, or you can say manifestation of Lord Shiva only. He is the Lord of time. He is the one who defeats time and death both. So he is a Mahakal, and his situation is something like that only, which is related to, which is very prominent in the which is prominent to define the timeline also, as it is its situation is in the middle of in in India at Ujjain. And similarly, we have another belief that Kal Bhairava, he is the supreme ruler of time. He supervises us and the whole universe, and he is nothing but the Lord of time also only. So this is how we can say that in Puranas, we have created our units of time. We have changes our belief of time into as Lord only, as different Lord only, and Kal Bhairava and Mahakaleshwar is nothing but the Shiva incarnation of Shiva only. So moving to the modern era, we have now.
Before the advent of modern science, we were all dealing with classical non-relativistic versions of the theories, which depended entirely on the three-dimensional structure of space, which is typified by X, Y, Z direction, etc. So they were mutually perpendicular to each other. And as you can see, a particle can move in forward or backward, up and down, left, right, etc. So time was not an essential ingredient in those theories. It was put in by hand, which was not a very favorable thing to have for a consistent physical theory. So later on, towards the beginning of the last century, around I think 1905 or so, there was a four-dimensional continuum which included time as one of the important ingredient, along with the space, 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time. Although time has a different character altogether. It moves only in the forward direction, and that too, it has to be the positive parameter, positive variable. But the space dimensions could go in the forward, backward, etc., etc., and they can also have negative values, if you will. This thing was actually invented, mathematical formulation was invented by Minkowski, who was a teacher to the celebrated physicist Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein actually formulated the theory of modern cosmology. He was the first one to do it, and he called it the Big Bang theory, according to which everything emerged. The universe was born in a Big Bang. It came from a singularity where everything exploded. and the universe was born. The temperatures were almost infinite, and the densities, mass densities were also infinite. So things started with that situation, and time also began with Big Bang. Time was exactly zero when Big Bang actually took place. Then, of course, we had several models after that. Einstein was one, and then there were several other physicists who actually propounded their own models, but they differed only very slightly from each other. So, with the beginning of time, we must also, if anything has a beginning, it must also have an end. Since the universe had a beginning with Big Bang, there must be a scenario where the universe will come to an end. And that scenario would typify, would actually establish that the time is finite. After a particular amount of time, the universe will cease to exist. So the demise of the universe can happen in a variety of ways. There are several models. So it can have a big crunch where everything will collapse into a point, and that will be the end of the universe. It's a different matter that it can bounce back again into a new variety of universe, and so on and so forth. So this is going to happen. This eternity of time, where uh, according to certain theories, we cannot really assert that time is finite or time is infinite. There is a theory which is known as the steady state theory, according to which time goes into the backward direction. It is minus infinity to plus infinity. That theory, however, did not come out correct after some time, and it was summarily discarded. So ultimately, the universe goes through successive periods of expansions and contractions, not quite attaining the point of infinite density. That means it does not attain the density with which it was actually born. So that singularity is generally referred to as the initial singularity.
Yes, very true. And that's initial singularity as taken by the modern science today. It is there in the Vedas also in the form of Prajapati and time concept, where you find that all the units of time, Samvatsar, Prajapati, creation, everything is Sarvam, everything i- is included in itself, and there is nothing outside that. So they are same, they are considered to be the same, and by this word tadekam, which is referred there in the Rig Vedic, starting from the Rig Veda to the Taittiriya Brahman and many other subjects later on in the Darshana or the philosophy. Tadekam word is taken as the word for term for initial singularity as described by modern scientists today. So,
So finally, I would like to make a request. I would rather implore the learned audience to ponder over the question: what will actually happen if time ceases to exist?